So I wanted in today's talk to really cover what is really a fast-moving world of Geospatial 2.0. The framework and thinking that I have been operating within, again, is evolving very, very rapidly. So I kind of wanted in this talk to summarize some of that stuff. I did also wanted to plug the newsletter. I'm going to talk quite a lot more about what I'm going to say today in the newsletter, which comes out tomorrow. So if you haven't signed up for the newsletter, please do. You'll get more context on some of these conversations. Plus, I provide in the newsletter lots of links to very relevant information. So you're trying to track 2.0 and what I've been talking about, feel free to sign up for the newsletter. So there are a couple of sort of constructs, if you like, that I've been building within that 2.0 world. The first thing is kind of the understandable piece about what we're really talking about here. A lot of people talk technically. I try and start it in a conversation which we can all understand. And I've really identified 4 pieces to the puzzle: context, insight, intelligence, and action. So let's cover those 4 things first. What do I mean by those things? Let's imagine a firefighter who's watching a wildfire. From a contextual perspective, he knows where he's standing, he knows where the fire is, he knows the trees, the buildings, the escape routes, he knows where the wind's blowing. That's all contextual and insightful information for him. That is critical in the decision-making process. You can't make a decision without all that information. So intelligence is that next level of this. Let's imagine a scenario where that fire's moving quickly. That guy's got to make a decision for himself and potentially for his team on escaping from that, if that's a very fast-moving thing that's a threat. So from using the context and insight that he's gathered, he's using his intelligence to map out the best path forward for them to escape. That's a decision that he's got to make. Do they do it now? Do they do it in a few minutes? Or which route do they take to get out? So there's got to be a decision that's made based against the context and that insight. The last phase of that is action, is literally getting away from it. So we drive, we run, whatever that method is to get out, and we do it now in 10 minutes and half an hour, whatever it might be. So that's really the journey that we go on in a lot of our decision making. And that decision making has got to be driven in a very accurate way. This is where digital technology and AI comes in. And we're fundamentally talking about a geospatial scenario, people, places, and things. That covers a lot of the ground of work that we do, particularly in these extremely high-risk situations. So let's move over to the technical side. There are really 3 elements on the technical side. The first one is the perception layer. Now, what does that word perception mean? You can think of it as your senses. It's almost the data gathering piece. It's the data processing piece. We can translate that to really context and insight. So in a digital world, this is the world where we're gathering data. That might be LiDAR, that may be IoT data. It's static data, it's real-time data. It's that data processing piece, which AI is helping us to speed up, and some level of analytics against that. That gives us the first 2 components of what I've just spoken about. That gives us the context, maybe we put it on a map, and that gives us some set level of insight. We can actually see the relationships and think through some of those things. The next piece is the intelligence piece, and that's where we have to be AI-led, and this is where the Geospatial 2.0 journey truly really begins. I will talk in the newsletter again, just a teaser for you, about what that layer looks like and what it's made up of. And that is the brains of the system. That's the reasoning engine. So that's the second piece of this. And then the last piece of this, the action layer, is the agentic layer, agentic AI. That's where we actually do something. So we can basically map across from those sort of action points, or sort of the context, insight, intelligence, action, over to what we're going to do digitally. And really that's the true power of what Geospatial 2.0 is. We can provide all of that using new technology and data. And again, there's another layer that I haven't mentioned here, which I've just added actually this week to the 4 that I've mentioned, so beyond the action layer. So I'll talk about that again in the newsletter. Okay, I'm really teasing you today and signing up for the newsletter, but I only want to be brief in these talks. But there's an inevitability to 2.0, and the more that this conversation evolves, the more that I learn, the more people give me feedback on it, the more the hypothesis that began years ago about where we're going with this thing is I believe, proven. So we're moving forward on that. Again, I'll emphasize the newsletter. I'm repeating myself once again, but please sign up for it. Again, I love your feedback on the newsletter, on these talks as well. And I'll do another one of these very soon. Thanks for watching.